You're listening to Guts and Grind with Siju and Sajin, making the real estate journey accessible to anyone.
All right, guys, we're back again with another episode of Guts and Grind. I think this is episode 39. We're almost at 40 episodes. It's crazy. So I'm here joined co-host Sajin Abraham. How are you doing, brother?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Just living life, man. Trying to survive. How about you?
Same here, man. It's like a windy day, so I think I heard my trash can blowing around. So if you hear that, that's what that is, you know?
And it's like, I mean, I don't know when this is going to air, but there's pollen everywhere, everywhere. And my allergies are like, it's crazy. But, you know, I can't complain because the weather, this is the best time of year as far as temperature. We're in Houston. And so you only get like 3 days of like good weather. So allergies or not, we're out there. We're trying to enjoy the weather. So
I'm popping Claritin like it's going out of style. You know, it's just like Skittles, you know?
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
You're 100% right. I go out there, the car is just covered. It's like a green hint on any car you see out there. You know?
Seriously.
But anyway, with that said, let's segue into our closing day. Closing day of, you know, we built our way all the way up to getting this property. We bought it. Now we're here on closing day. Today's episode is all about what to expect on closing day. Although you may seem like a small minor step, you'd probably think, hey, why even do an episode on it? But I think it is important because for the newbies out there, you know, it is an experience. I will tell you, my first closing, I will say it was an experience in the sense that nobody ever tells you, hey, how much paper you're about to sign, and you're not even really. You're not even really knowing what you're signing in some senses. And I'm just like, I should have brought a stamp. I should just boom, like, I mean,
if we could do that, if that was possible, man, that'd be great.
Yeah. It's literally a ream of paper you're signing. So with that said, I mean, Saj, let us know. I mean, tell us a few of the things that to expect, I guess, from the title company when you get there, when you're on person. And a lot of these are happening in person. You have to get there to do it. So Saj, you want to give us what to expect there?
Yeah, sure. So like Siju was saying, like we're kind of building these things. Just as a side note, we're building series, right? And so this is the end of series 2 of season 2. And so it's closing day, right? Like you're getting to the end of like actually buying the house, right? And so when you're at the closing table, typically you'll go to the title company, or if you're lucky, they'll have like a mobile notary come out to wherever you want to be. I've had it done at coffee shops multiple times. Like they'll come to your house, whatever. But let's just say you're meeting them somewhere, right? So things that you need to be prepared with is multiple forms of ID. And I did note that, you know, you should bring your checkbook, but really they typically don't like written checks. So you would need to know like how much money you need to bring to the table and then go get a cashier's check for that. So before you even come to the closing table for the signing, make sure you have multiple forms of ID and a cashier's check for the total amount of what's been negotiated before. So those are two major things. As Siju mentioned, there's going to be a ton of paperwork to comb through and read and sign. But if you have a good title company, they'll provide that to you ahead of time. And so it's very advisable to just review that and get a full understanding of what you're signing. Because when you're at the signing table and someone's just sitting in front of you waiting for you to sign, I don't know about you guys, but I get kind of like, oh, I don't want to waste anyone's time and I don't want to waste my time. Let's just keep going. Let's burn through the signatures and stuff like that. But that's not good, right? You need to understand what you're signing. And so make it a point before you get to the closing table to ask for the final closing document. And that way you could review it, have a full understanding. If you have questions, ping those questions before closing day. Because really, for me at least, I want closing day to be a very seamless process. I want to be at a point where I'm like, I'm just signing. So that's kind of what I would do ahead of time to prep for signing for a closing day. And so let's say you've done all that, you get to the closing table. Even when you're at the closing table, you shouldn't be afraid to ask any questions, you know, as you're reviewing it, because like it's better to know fully than to just sign blindly and then end up finding out that you did something that you didn't want to do, right? Those are a few things to do. And then also the final thing is just be ready to sign. You're going to have some cramps. Just be ready to sign. Like I remember when I would sign my signature, it's already sloppy, right? It's already bad, but it would look like my signature at the beginning. And then by midway through, it's just like, it's just a line. It's just an S and a line.
You think your son signed it?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's,
Oh, go ahead.
I want to ask a couple things on that side. So you said like you can get your documents ahead of time. I've never had that happen, by the way. Maybe all my closings run like really close to the very end, and so they're still preparing documents, and it's
Yeah.
literally crunch time right before. So my documents always I never see them until I get there. But that's good to know that you can actually request that hopefully before, if you have enough time, I assume, to get the
Yeah,
closing.
but you're right, because I think everyone kind of, if you give someone 7 days, they probably start working on the seventh day, right?
Yeah.
And so like that kind of those are elements that do happen. But I think if you keep pushing, if you're persistent, you'll get that document, and just kind of push it and say, hey, I need to know what I'm signing, and I don't want to waste my time at the closing table.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're very, nice but upfront, and you're just very like, hey, this is what I need to make it happen. I think they try to be accommodating, right?
Yeah.
And
And I,
let's say, for example, they can't get it to you in time. Then just take the time at the closing table. Like, take the time to read it, get a full understanding. Usually the person that's coordinating the signing will have the information. Like, if you have a question about what's this document, they'll give you the quick rundown. So that way you feel comfortable about what you're doing.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that actually. So putting on the investor hat here, if you're gonna go through this process a lot, you'll find, right, like the good title companies, and those will have the good closing agents that'll sit there with you, and they'll say, hey, there's certain ones that I know that are really good, right? That
Right.
they'll walk you through the whole thing. They'll say, oh, this is your mineral rights form that you're signing off. This is your closing doc or your closing statement. They'll explain everything like in a 2 sentence
Yeah.
quick verbiage of what each document is as they're flipping it through. Like they know this like the back of their hands, right? And I've been through closings where I'm asking the guy, hey, what is this form? This looks new. He's like, I don't know. I'm just here. and those are my mobile notaries. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
again, the mobile notaries it's a nice convenience factor, but I will say don't expect the best closing,
Service, right?
closing service or closing experience for a newbie. I would highly recommend, if you're first closing on your first rental property or first house in general, go to a legitimate title company, sit there, get a good closing agent. We can give recommendations on some good spots. And that's why people rely on certain closing companies or certain title companies versus others. But there's good ones that are just literally, man, they know each document. And some of these things are changing through COVID. There's been some new forms they've added. I saw a
Right.
couple things where they can even check your income right before you close because of COVID, people losing
Oh,
their
right.
jobs and things like that. So keep that in mind. The mobile notaries is good. And once you get seasoned, like me and Saj, I honestly, I love the mobile notary. They come to my house and just
Yeah.
boop, boop, boop,
It's
sign.
awesome. It's
Yeah.
it's so good. But let me ask you about the title company. I've never had the opportunity to pick my title company. I always assumed that the seller has control, or the seller's agent has control. Like, hey, closing is going to be here.
Again, going back to negotiations, right? So if the seller has a preference and you're wanting the house, right, you're gonna say, hey, what title company do you want to go through, right?
Right.
But if you want to, you can always say, hey, I want to use this company, and it's
Right.
totally up to the parties that are involved, right?
Right. Okay. Okay.
But you are 100% right. But you can always pick and choose. Say, hey, I prefer using this title company.
Right.
And they may have certain fees that they've negotiated off or got less, but be expected that if you want to pick a selected title company of your preference, you may have to pay some of the fees, right?
Sure.
So there may
Yeah.
be that aspect of it.
That's fair. That's fair. That's good to know. It's funny because, like, you do it so many times, and you know how, like, when you don't ask the question, you just assume that, oh, this is the standard, you can't change it.
No.
So yeah, that's good to know, that you could just kind of make the request, be like, hey, I've had bad experiences with X title company. Can we please use this one? And just kind of see what happens, right? That makes
Yeah.
sense.
If you never ask, you'll never know.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So with that said, I mean, we're wrapping up this series of our episodes of, getting the pre-negotiation stuff up until closing, right? So which includes getting all your own earnest money in, your option period, what to expect going through the inspection period. We've covered renegotiations and even underwriting, and now leading up to today's episode of the closing day. And so this is going to wrap up you acquiring the property. So you've completely researched the property, found it, and now you've closed on it. Our next couple series is, hey, you've got the house in your hand now what, right? So like what is the next step? So expect the next few episodes on steps for you to prep it to get it out onto the market. And so that's coming down the pipe. But with that said, Saj, I don't know if you have any other closing comments before I wrap this one up.
No, I mean, like, I think you covered it all. And like Sid, you said, we're trying to do our best to create series, so it's like a digestible all right, series 1 is about this, and series 2 is about like getting the property and negotiating and all that kind of stuff. And series 3 coming up, it's going to be, you have the house. So now what do we do? And so we hope that that's something that's helpful for you guys, and let us know, let us know what you like, what you don't like. I mean, we want to cater to you guys. And we really enjoy doing the stuff. And like, we're by no means are we experts, but we have a little bit of knowledge based off of what we've already done. And so we want to share that.
Just a little bit.
It's just a little. But in addition to sharing what we know, we want to know what you guys know as well. So please like share with us as well. Let this be a back and forth communication, not just us talking to you guys.
100%. And like I said, what's nice about this is we put it in super small, like bite size, but also like really targeted topics, right? So you can always go back to each one. Let's just say you're in the middle of a series or of a transaction, and you need to know, hey, what do I need to get ready for underwriting? Boom, you can pull up our episode and run through it. Hopefully that kind of works out for you in that way. But as Saj said, comment, follow us on YouTube, on all the platforms that we have out there, out there, and most importantly, give us your feedback. If you're going through something, we'd love to hear from you, and share what we've been through, as well as hear from you guys as well. So with that said, we're going to wrap up episode 39 here. Thanks, Saj, for joining, and we will see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening to Guts and Grind with Siju and Sajin. Be sure to tune in next time.